Okay, so this time we will go with the application of the lessons that you learned previously. Okay, so on this video, you are expected to solve problems involving sampling distribution of sample mean. Okay, so we will be applying it on the real world problems. So before proceeding, let's try to look back on some um, idea or concepts connected to this lesson. So, again, the central limit theorem is of fundamental importance in statistics because it justifies the use of a normal curve methods for a wide range of problems. So, this theorem applies automatically to sampling infinite population. It also assures that no matter what the shape of the population distribution of the mean is, the sampling distribution of the sample means is closely normally distributed whenever n is large. That's why when you are doing a research, I hope you are familiar with the research. The larger the sample is, the better. Okay? Right? So consequently, it justifies the use of the formula Z is equal to x bar minus mean over the sigma over square root of n. Now, when computing for the probability that x bar or the sample mean will take on a value within a given range. Okay, so because of central limit theorem, the use of this z is equal to formula, blah blah, has been justified. I hope you are still familiar with z. Okay, since we are dealing with a normal distribution, right? Meaning the sample mean is closely normally distributed. Now, since the assumption here is that the graph of a sampling distribution of sample means is normally distributed. Therefore, we can convert it into standard normal distribution. That's why there is a presence of z here, right? So z refers to the score in the standard normal distribution. Okay? So I hope you can still remember on how to use the z, specifically the tables and the formula in converting an x value to a c value. Okay, so let's proceed with the first example. So let's say the average time it takes for a group of senior high school students to complete a certain exam is 46.2 minutes. So yun do yung average time nila, no? The standard deviation is 8 minutes. Assume that the variable is normally distributed rather. Now, since we assume here that the variable is normally distributed, now we can use the standard normal distribution because of this assumption. Now, for letter A, the question is, what is the probability that a random selected senior high school student will complete the examination in less than 43 minutes? If 50 For letter B, if 50 randomly selected senior high school student will take the examination, what is the probability that the mean time it takes the group will take to complete the test will be less than 43 minutes? So, alright. So, hanapin muna natin si... Oh, alright. It's not necessary for now. Let's proceed with the solution before plotting the graph rather. Oh, there's an text here. Okay. So first thing, let's identify the given information. Okay. So here, the given informations are, we have the mu or the population mean. So you can see the senior high school student is 46.2 minutes. Okay. So that refers to our population. Okay. And the standard deviation of the population is 8. Okay. Now, where did we get this? So what is 43? 43 is a mean. Okay. It's a sample mean. So we got the 43 here. So what is the probability that a randomly selected senior high school student will complete the exam in less than 43 minutes? So yun yung concern natin, no? So our x value here is 43. Okay? Now let's identify what is asked for. So we are asked to identify the probability for letter A that the senior high school student will complete the exam in less than 40 minutes. That's why here we have P, the probability of X is less than 43 minutes. No? Dapat daw mas mababa. Ano kaya yung probability na mas mababa? Now, let's identify the formula to be used. We will be using Z is equal to mean minus, or the sample mean minus the population mean over the standard deviation of the population. Okay, so let's solve the problem. So let's plug in the formula, I mean the values. So for the sample mean, it's 43 minus the population mean 46.2 divided by 8. So if you plug that on your calculator, press it, and then the result will be 0.40. Now, I think this is the right time to graph it, but I forget to prepare a graph. So let me just look for simple graph here. This was the previous module that we used. Uh-huh. Let's look for a good graph. Right, so this one, I think this one is good. Okay, so let me grab that first. Mm, all right. So let me like brush it. Oh, sorry. We just simply erase this pala. Right. So just simply think that there is no green part here. Right. Okay. Oh, so cool. I mean, so satisfying to erase the green portion. All right. Oh, I don't want to save that though. Okay. So assuming this is our graph, right? So in graph, remember the middle part of the graph of a standard normal distribution is the mean. So the value of 46.2 is in here. Okay. Now, the negative 0.4 refers to or corresponds to the sample mean of 43. So meaning, since negative, it is on the left part of the 0. So meaning it's between here. Okay, so let's try to... Mhm. Sorry, let me brush. Here. So let's say 0.43. 0.43 is here. That's negative, right? So, mm, again, let's go back on the question. What is the probability that a randomly selected senior high school student will complete in less than 43 minutes? So, less than, that's why P of X is less than 43. Okay? So, when you say less than, let me continue this para. So, ito yung boundary natin. Okay? So, when you say less than, which part of the graph do you think are we looking for? This part, this, the first part, or the number 2 part? What do you think? Less than. Okay, very good. So, it's on the number 1 part. Less than nga eh, no? Mas mababa. So, meaning, the values that are lower than 40, than uh, 43, is that right? 43? Yeah, 43 is on the left part of this. Okay? So, let me remove that. Oh, by the way, I think, oh, this is zero pala, no? This is zero. Sorry. I, it's 0.40. Okay? So, nandito siya. So, ito yung concern natin, yung left part. Alright. So, let's try to use the table that we used before. It's in here. Okay. So, remember guys, this table gives us the whole left part of the value. Okay? The whole left part of the value that we are looking for. Okay? Be careful on using this table. So, the only value that we know is negative zero point 0.4. So, let's look for negative zero point 0.4. It's in here. Okay? Let's look at the header. Alright, so yung dulo, no? The end column. Okay. So, 0.3446. So, ano yung binibigay ni 0.3446? Again, we are, the table gives us the leftmost part of the graph from the value that we look for. So, meaning, si 0.3446, this one, is the leftmost part from the value that we look for. So, asan yung left niyan? Ito, no? So, meaning this part, the area under that part is 0.3446. Okay? Now, let's go back with the question. Ano ba yung hinahanap natin? Okay, less than 43. So, yun na yun eh. Less than 43. Yung nasa left daw ng 43. Therefore, this is the probability. Okay? Now, the probability raw na kapag kumuha ka ng senior high school student, matatapos niya yung exam ng mas mababa sa 43 minutes, the probability of that is 34.46, no? Okay, yun daw yung chance na yung bata makukuha mo ay matatapos yung exam ng less than 43 minutes. 34% lang daw. Okay? Now, as you can see here, I think the author of this module used another type of table. That's why he subtracted something pa. Okay? But luckily, our table gives us the leftmost part, so we don't have to subtract anything. Okay? See, so state the final answer. So the probability that the randomly selected senior high student will complete the examination in less than 43 minutes is 0.3446 or 34.46. See, again, a word of precaution. So as you can see, the author used another type of table. That's why the author subtracted something pa. Okay, next. For letter B, the question is, say 50 randomly selected senior high school students will take the exam. Now, you are asked for the probability that the mean time it takes the group will take to complete the test will be less than 43 minutes. So this is the solution for that. Let's try to identify the givens. Again, the sample mean is 46.2, while the standard deviation is 8. The um, excuse me, sample mean is 43, while the sample size is 50. This is a population mean rather. Sorry. Population mean is 46.2. Now, identify what is asked. So again, it is asking what is the probability that these 50 students will finish the test in less than 43 minutes. Next is identify the formula. Of course, we'll be using that formula. Okay. Now, solve for the um, corresponding z value. Oh, all right. So as you can see here, we use different formula. Okay, why is that? Because here we already know what is the sample size, so that's why we use this formula. If you know the sample size, you can use this formula. Okay, so plugging the values here, we will get z is equal to negative 2.83, and we shall find the probability less than by getting the area under the normal curve. So the corresponding z of 43 is negative 2.83. Okay, so let's revert this back. So let's remove the values that we put. Okay, all right. So let's now, where is the negative, what's that again? 2.83. So I think it's kind of here. No? Sure, parang ano eh, parang close na yan. No, it's not close. Remember, one of the property of the standard normal curve is it's asymptotic to the x-axis. When you say asymptotic, it will get closer and closer to this axis, no? This axis that has a numbers, but it will never touch that. So technically speaking, it will never be closed, right? So continuous yan, continuous siya. So here is our negative 2 point, what's that again? 83, right? 2.83. Okay. So again and again, it's asking for the less than 43 minutes. So it's looking for the area on the right, the probability on the right. So let's try to use the table. So luckily our table gives us the leftmost part of the value that we look for, 2.83. So here, no, which column is 3? Okay, this column, all right, so it's 0.0023. Okay, so meaning this area here is 0.002 and 3. There you go. See, same answer, right? The module also says that the answer is 0.0023. So the probability that 50 randomly selected senior high students will complete the exam for is, yeah, very small, no? 0.23%. Now, if you will notice, let's say instead of 50, I'll be choosing 150. Now, what do you think will happen to the probability? Will it gonna uh, go up or go down? What do you think about that, no? Think about it. Ano kaya magiging probability? Yung kaya ay uh, tataas siya or bababa yung kanyang probability. Right? Okay. So, let's have this one. For example, number 2. So, the average number of milligrams or mg of cholesterol in a cup of a certain brand of ice cream is 660 milligrams. And the standard deviation is 35 milligrams. Assume that the variable is normally distributed. Now, if a cup of ice cream is selected for letter A, what is the probability that cholesterol content will be more than 670 milligram? Now, let's say we choose 10 cups of ice cream. What do you think is the probability that the mean of the sample will be larger than 670? Oh, this is just exactly the same as the previous example. Okay, so I'll leave this part for you to answer. Okay, and um, should I add more? All right, so I leave this part for you to answer as a practice. No? Okay, so that will be for this video lesson.